Welcome back to the channel. First day of fall. We're out here about 15-16 miles south of the farm. South and east actually. And we're out here cutting teff grass. This farm has just over 200 acres on it. This is first cutting. This was planted really late, so it's kind of a gamble. Like I said, I've never planted it this late. I think we're like the last week of July, so yields are going to be mixed. We had some germination issues and I believe some spreading issues, but anyways, we're getting it cut. Still I don't know, I'm shooting for 1,000 bales off this farm. 1,000 4x5s. Can we get it? I don't know. We'll see. This is a thin spot here, you can see. But Amanda's out here cutting. She's got 10A6 and 11.5 foot cutter. It's gonna take forever. Big machine's down. We'll get to that later on in this video. It's Sunday, can't get parts, so we're down to cutting with one machine. This whole farm, when we brought the cutters down here on Friday, this whole farm was standing really nice, about waist tall in the good spots, and we had Saturday morning storm come through and tipped a bunch of it over. At least it's not flat, and we are getting most of it. The teff is heading out, which is about perfect when we want to cut it. I mean, you're looking for really good quality, that 17, 18, 19% protein should have been cutted before the heads. But typically with this headed out, good growing conditions, we can still see that 12-13%. And for grass hay, that's still really good protein. A lot of our cool season grasses, man, you really got to try hard and cut young to get over 12. So yeah, just starting this video off. We're gonna see how much we can get done. Looks like we got a good week and a lot of acres to cover on this farm. I believe we are like 465 acres left to cut for the year, guaranteed minimum. Anything else that comes about, or if we have some grass, which I doubt it because we got such a late start, but if we have some more grass fields that could be cut for a second time, we will. But we just got to keep plugging away. Was gonna cut the camera off, but might as well show you one more time. Off into the sunset. Actually, the sun ain't even setting yet. It's still 3:40, 3:50 in the afternoon, I think. Okay, don't know if you guys can hear me with the bin fan running, but I'm going to tear into this. This is our big cutter. The problem is in this tongue, there's a drive line that goes from that gearbox to the pulley that runs the belt on the back. So it's a hex shaft, and it's held in here on the other side of the machine by carrier bearings. And there's 5, I believe. This carrier bearing right here, the first one, actually went out on us when we started cutting down there in Bram, and the tongue was smoking. There was actually I'll show you, there was actually a fire inside the tongue. Didn't burn anything up, but I'm gonna start disassembling this and see what we got. This cutter has been a pain in the butt this year. We already got over 17,000 in the cutter bar, and this is gonna cost probably $1,000. It was like $6 grand to have the dealer do it. We're gonna do it ourselves. This machine probably is not gonna be on this farm next year, so stay tuned for that. We'll see. Just trying to finish the year and see where things line up. Well, I'm about as far as I can get by myself. Got the top gearbox on the tongue off. Got all the drive line out. Everything's out. Hanger bearings are all loose, and the hex shaft is loose in there, but I'm gonna need some help pulling that out. That's a long hex shaft, and I can't get it by myself. Amanda's cutting, so I think this is about all I can get by myself. Came apart relatively easy, but putting it back together is always the worst. So I'll get help to pull that shaft out right there, and then see how much the carnage is. I have one bearing and flanges on order. They should be here tomorrow morning. I didn't want to order all 5 because they are about 200 and some bucks a piece. So I'm gonna tear this out, and I know one's bad, so I had that on order. Tear it out, see how bad the rest of them are, and go from there as far as ordering more. So Tuesday, September 24th, about 2:45 in the afternoon. She was out of fuel, so we had to put the slip tank in the Cummins and brought her fuel. She's full now. Been cutting for, what is it, 3 days now, and have about 70-ish acres left of this 200 and some acre farm. Very variable. You can tell this is a bad spot. You can see it in even just the rut mass, or the stem mass. Decent right there, and then you got these bare spots where wasn't many plants per acre. But I think this piece right here is like 20-25 acres. Got just a little sliver left, and then we're into a big field over there. So we'll keep on keeping on. Maya. Well, it's Thursday. We're back. We got that 205 acre farm of tough grass cut, and we're back cutting alfalfa. So we ain't gonna finish this field. Like I said, she just got back. She's doing the headlands now. But once this field's done tomorrow morning, we should have 245 acres on the ground, and I think we're gonna keep cutting. So we might end up 310 acres on the ground. I gotta start baling tomorrow, so we'll start picking it up. But hopefully the forecast holds and we can keep on pounding out these acres. This is a pretty nice stand of 4th cut. It would actually look really impressive if cut schedule. I think this is only cut at like 20-21 days, and I mean, if we went to 25-26, it slows down in the fall, so you kind of got to spread it out a little bit. But anyways, we're cutting this right at the wrong time for winter survival on alfalfa. But our plan is this is going to get plowed under and turn into corn for corn silage, which is a shame. A lot of people on YouTube will say it's a shame to be plowing this under. See, short stuff's lodged. It's actually, it's all over knee high. But this pure stand, a lot of people would be shaking their heads at turning under. But in order to keep stands like this, you got to keep them fresh, and we need corn at home for corn silage. So more than likely, the last cutting for this stand alfalfa out here. If we don't get winter kill too bad, I might actually consider taking first cut off, then plowing it under and planting corn. But that's a ways out yet.
Last 3 days, raked, baled, and hauled just over 300 bales. Probably can't see that because it's too dark. Hauled until 2 o'clock in the morning, technically this morning, yesterday. And it is 9:30 now, and this is the last bales to go home. And this is only a third of the farm. More to bale tomorrow.
October 1st. Sorry for the lack of videos the last couple days, or video clips in this video. Me, as well as the rest of the family, are all sicker than crap. But we've been baling on 200 acres. We got 531 or 32 bales baled so far. 2.5 days of baling. There's still 2 days down there probably. I think we gotta come back and make the alfalfa. But this video will probably skip around a lot because, like I said, we haven't recorded anything in the last 2 days. I'm standing here in the dairy barn. I did see a comment on the last video asking if we use the dairy barn for anything. And as you can see, there's a 20 by 20 overhead door, and we fill it with machinery or hay. There's about 563 round bales in here at the moment. But if you guys have an old dairy barn you're not using and it's structurally sound like this one, I recommend tearing out the hay loft and putting a big overhead door on the end to make amazing storage buildings, machinery shed, hay, whatever you need, and cheap footage instead of letting them sit around. So, as I said, we're getting a late start. It's 11 o'clock in the morning and we're finally walking out, but it's been a rough couple days. We've been working 16, 18-hour days, and it's just been a long week. It's going to get even longer. Got, like I said, a couple days down there, but right now we're going to do chores, and we'll see what else we run into.
Thursday, October 3rd. It's finally starting to feel like fall. I don't think we have a high of 80 today, which is nice. Our barn is almost full. We can fit a few more bales in here, but it's getting there. In the last 4 days, we have baled over 800 bales, big round bales, and we have hauled over 300 of them already. That is our plan for today, haul some more bales. So we've had a lot going on and super fun. our whole house is sick. So, but we still gotta work.
Friday, October 4th, going down to check this alfalfa. It's been laying, you guys didn't know in the video, but I believe a week, 7 days. This time of year for straight alfalfa like this can be a pain to dry, but we've had good weather for it. It actually froze last night or this morning for the first time, so we're gonna have a bunch of dead teff. We got to get on cutting that. I believe there's 80-90 acres of teff grass that's got to get cut immediately, so ideally before it freezes, but can only do as much as we can. So this stuff's faded on top, and I don't know if the camera's gonna pick it up. But you flip that over and there's still a ton of color. Some nice leafy fourth cut. So let's get on with the day. As Amanda stated in the previous clip, I believe, we got finished down baling down in Bram there. 808 bales, which is horrible for 210 acres or whatever. But the baler broke down for the first time ever, this 460M. We had this hydraulic line rubbed through that screw nut right there. So we gotta replace hydraulic line. Gonna pop that off, run down to Deere, get one made, and then hopefully finish moving all them bales. We're field stacking them. Brought 300 and some home. Field stacked the 500 and some that are down there. Just to keep going. So hopefully next video we're going to start cutting. We're going to have both cutters going, and hopefully we can drop the rest of the hay. I think there's just a titch over 300 acres left. As you can tell from my voice, we are all still sick. But I got this line popped off, and there's the problem. It's a small pinhole from rubbing that nut right there. 3-year-old baler, but with the bale count that's on it, we're gonna mark that as acceptable. So we gotta run the Deere after chores, get that made, and continue moving bales out in that field. We are dry. It hasn't rained in 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks, but let's hope the rain holds off until we get our crops out. Well, we got that new line in. The thing that sucks is they made it just a little bit longer, so it actually fits in there worse, but we'll just keep an eye on it. Tighten 2 fittings, lines in. Gonna hook up, try and go bale some alfalfa. It's gonna be borderline. I think it's gonna be like 17, 18, but we'll see what the moisture tester on the baler says, and then decide if we're gonna go or not. But we weren't supposed to get any rain, but it doesn't look like there's a 0% chance up there. Just greased it. Did a quick grease job. If you guys have a John Deere baler, in my opinion, the most important grease zerk on this baler is right back there on this tension arm, because that's constantly moving every bale. Other than that, a lot of these are pretty greaseless. You got a couple here on these pivot points, which they don't move a whole lot, but you still grease them. That moves a lot every bale. And then 3 on each side of the kicker, I believe, which there again, it's just on pivot points, so it's not, they don't move a whole lot. Actually, I'll show you. So you got 1 right here, 2 here, and then 1 up here. It's not even on the main pivot point, it's just these pivot points for like the bushings and stuff. And then 2 more underneath the net wrap. Do not over grease them. Don't want it getting on your net wrap. It's causing issues. But right now, I noticed this chain, and I already tightened it some. This chain is plenty loose. This one
is all right. It's on spring tension. But this one, I got to tighten this tensioner, pull the slack out of this, and hopefully we don't have to take a link out. I got plenty of adjustment there. I should be able to tighten it and be good to go. Then these endless chains back here, there's no tightener, so as soon as that gets too much slop in it, you gotta replace it with an endless chain. I've done it both ways. Run the endless chain, the pre-packaged one from John Deere, or make your own out of roller chain with master link. And I don't think there's too big a deal on longevity. I think they both last about the same. So if you do put a master link in there, it is a whole lot easier because you don't have to pull all this stuff off. Because if you do the endless, you gotta pull this off, pull this sprocket off, take them 2 sprockets out that they run on, and then put the chain around them and put them in together and put everything back together. Versus if you just cut it off with the grinder and then put one in with the master link, you just can sneak your fingers back there and run it that way. But I'm gonna tighten this. There she is, tensioned up. Maybe a hair too tight, but I think we're gonna run it.
Saturday, October 5th, I believe. As you can tell, the teff did get frosted. We are on limited time, but we're gonna get made what we can get made, and actually probably make it all and just bed with whatever's doesn't test out very good. Alfalfa was too wet to bale today, running the upper 20s, lower 30s. We're down here checking the corn to see how much time we have until we have to get on chopping it. And it's not an immediate thing. Sorry about that, probably made you guys sick. But it's not an immediate thing, but by the end of next week we probably should be looking at chopping. End of next week, beginning of the following. Like I said, we had that killing frost. I don't think it was killing for the corn. It definitely killed the teff, but you can see the upper leaves and the headlands did get fried. But anyways, I don't know what we have for footage. We're finally coming out of our sickness. So this video will be what it'll be. Please like, comment, subscribe, follow along for more. Talk at you later.
Hit the subscribe button and see you guys tonight.